1st, and this is my Med-Surg 1 lab. It's called CASL 2, and it was good. It went good. I had done this lab previously, and I passed the test already. However, I guess because of the break that I took, they wanted me to do it again. So, and I guess that makes sense because, you know, to meet my cohort, to freshen up my memory on, you know, my skills and stuff. So, I have a 5-hour drive back home, so I'm actually currently driving right now, but I have my cruise control on. There's not much traffic, so that's good. So I figured I'd do a video. And my video today is going to be about labs and clinicals, because I get a lot of questions about labs and clinicals. So I wanted to clear up some of those things. I know in my last videos we talked a little bit about labs and clinicals, about getting accepted into the clinical portion, where to order your scrubs, you know, what all shots you were going to need, what shoes you need, stuff like that. So let's kind of go over labs. So in your first 6 months, which is what I said was almost like your trial run, where you have your biochem, your pharmacology, your intro to nursing, you're going to have what's called an Introductory Lab Weekend. This is where you get to meet your cohort for the first time, and you're pretty much going to learn all your CNA type stuff. So it's going to be a Saturday, then the following weekend will be a Saturday and a Sunday, and then you'll have your lab assessment on a Saturday that next weekend. And pretty much you just learn, you go over your patient safety, blood pressure, vitals, bed baths, making a bed, transferring a patient from bed to chair. Sorry, it's been a while. It's been about a year and a half since I did that lab. So this is a time to kind of learn all those skills, meet your cohort, and get prepared for the clinical portion of the program. So a lot of people stress about scrubs this weekend. Don't go out and buy any special scrubs, and you're not going to have your email to buy your school scrubs yet until you officially get accepted into the clinical portion. So just go out, buy you some cheap scrubs, or if you already have some, you know, wear the ones you have. Don't go out buying these expensive scrubs, expensive shoes, expensive stethoscope. They'll have all of that there. So just, you know, wear whatever shoes, wear whatever scrubs, and go have fun and learn all of your safety and your vitals. Now, the clinical part of the program is when you start really diving into labs and your clinicals at the hospital. Your hospital, where you're assigned, really depends on your area and whatever hospital that your mentor told you you were going to have your clinicals at. And so you'll be with that hospital pretty much the whole program, except for maybe like your psych rotation, or maybe if your hospital doesn't have an OB floor. So pretty much how it works, your classes are split up into terms. So your first clinical term, you're going to have physical assessment and your CASL 1 class. And CASL 1 is just a fancy name for fundamentals. If, you know, you're talking about a regular nursing program, that's what their fundamentals class would be our CASL 1. So you have a 60-hour clinical with this class, and you have a lab. So your lab is going to be the same exact thing as it was for the intro lab. It'll be a Saturday, and then the next weekend it'll be a Saturday and a Sunday, and then the next weekend it'll be a Saturday for your test. If you don't pass your lab assessment, You will then come in that Sunday for a lab assessment makeup. This lab, you will get this, which is your WGU badge, and they will not let you in the campus without it. So when you get accepted into your clinical portion of the program, they're going to have you take a picture on a white background, and they're going to send you this badge. You need this to get into the campus. You need this for your clinicals. You've got to wear it on you at all times. You will also get your WGU scrubs that you ordered, which is what I'm wearing right now. They're royal blue, and they're Dickies brand. Now, a lot of people ask this question about scrubs, do you have to order them from the school site? Yes and no. I'm just going to say yes and no. I ordered mine from the school site at first. I think I paid around $160. Only because you have to have the WGU patch. And so you can't buy them separate. So you have to buy the shirts. A lot of people opt out to buy their pants through Dickies, but different brands of pants. Dickies has different, I don't even know what you would call it, I guess different styles of scrubs. So some people decide to get different style pants, but the same color because it's still Dickies brand. Some people decide to get a whole different uniform, but in this color. But you have to make sure it's the Dickies royal blue. And I've heard this color is really hard to find and really hard to match, which I will say it is hard. And I'm going to tell you about an experience that I had this weekend. So anyway, I had a baby not too long ago, and I outgrew my scrubs. And when I went to put them on, I knew lab was this weekend, but when I went to put them on, they were too small, and I was very upset. So I reached out to some people I knew online that had graduated and asked if I could buy her tops. Now, her bottoms were too long for me, so I didn't get the bottoms. So I had to go to a scrub store to find some bottoms last minute yesterday when lab was today. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life because literally I went through several types of scrubs and the blues did not match. It didn't matter if they were royal blue or not. The royal blue did not match the Dickies blue. I finally found some that matched. So if you can find a totally different uniform to match, go for it. A lot of people, if they find the right color in a different uniform brand, they'll order the Dickies WGU shirts from the school, and they'll take the patch off, and they'll get a seamstress to sew the patch onto the new brand uniforms that are more comfortable, because the Dickies ones they give us are not comfortable. They feel like real thin and papery. So this girl that I had bought these scrubs from, really cool. She still got the Dickies brand, but she got the extreme stretch, and they are so much more comfortable than the ones that they give you on the school website. And she just got, a lady to sew the patches on the shirts. So now all I have to do is order 2 pairs of extreme stretch Dickies pants on their website. And I have my old Dickies WGU shirts, and I'm going to take those patches off and get totally new brand of scrubs if I can find the right color and put those on. So as long as they have your patches and they're the same color, they don't really have a problem with it. Another thing is you will order your lab kit, and let me show you this is what your lab bag looks like. It's like your little lab nursing bag. It'll come with your pen light, your needles, everything to start an IV, trach care kits, catheter kits, wound care kits, NG tubes, everything you need to practice your skills. So that's what all will be in there. And then that's about it. You need white, non-slip, non-porous material shoes, and you're good to go for your labs. So that's a little bit about labs. Labs get more complex the more you go into the program. So each class is different. You know, your first real lab in the clinical portion, you're going to really be focusing on skills. And your second lab, which is what I just did, you're going to be focusing on simulations, which was pretty cool. The mannequins can now talk to you, and you can take their blood pressure and their pulses, and they put you in scenarios, and you have to act like a nurse and pretty much do your head-to-toe assessment and your nursing interventions and your care, you know, your plan of care. Like, what medications are you going to give for this, you know, particular symptom, and how are you going to care for that patient? So that's pretty cool. So that's labs. And labs you will get ahead of time on that little calendar that they give you when you start the program. Your labs dates aren't going to change. So you can go ahead and tell your job and your babysitters, if you have kids, that those dates need to be, you know, you need to be off, or you need somebody to watch your kids. As far as clinicals go, so when you get that sample calendar, a lot of people are confused about this. You will see where they have blocked off, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and a lot of people think that you have to work the whole 2 or 3 weeks. No, you're not going to be having clinicals that whole 2 or 3 weeks. You will have clinicals, I think it's 60 hours for CASL 1 and 60 hours for CASL 2. So in the nursing world, that is 5 days, 12-hour shifts. So you will have 5 days out of that whole 2 or 3 weeks. The reason they block off 2 or 3 weeks is because they really don't know when the hospital will send the schedules for the students, and so you have to be available those weeks. So really, it's the first 2 weeks is the weeks you could be assigned, and then that last week is supposed to be like a makeup week. But you could really have clinicals anytime in those 3 weeks. So don't think just because that's blocked off as your makeup week, you can just plan something. Don't do that, because we've had times where we didn't get our schedule until like 4 days into the clinical window, and we had to go that week. So just go ahead and plan that you might have clinicals those 2 or 3 weeks, any day those weeks. As you move through the program, the clinicals get more complex and the hours go up. So, you know, psych would be 90, OB and peds are 90 each, and then I think it gets all the way up to 180 in your last clinical rotation. So that's just kind of give you a estimate of kind of how much you're going to go. Labs and clinicals are only every 3 months. So it's very doable for people who work and for people who have families. So let's talk about if you should do the program, if you work or have children, or you don't live near a clinical site and you have to travel. It is so doable. I know so many people in this program. If you want to drop your name and your email down below, if I need to connect you with a person who works and has kids, or a person who travels very far, I can, if you have any questions for them, because it is possible. Don't think just because you're a mom of 3 kids you can't do this program, or if you work full time you can't do this, or you know, you live 20 hours away. It is very possible. It's not easy. It's very hard, but it's possible. So pretty much a lot of people who work use their PTO, their vacation time, sick days for their clinicals and their labs. Most of the time labs are on the weekends, so people have the weekends off, so it kind of works out. A lot of people will move shifts around. Some people drop to part-time and PRN. So it really just depends on how flexible your job is. Another question that gets asked a lot is, oh, well, can my clinicals work around my schedule? No. Now, if you have extreme circumstances, and I mean extreme, like you live super far away, you had a death in the family, extreme circumstances, I have seen where clinical directors and hospital personnel will come together and try to find the best position for that student, but it's rare, and it is in the handbook that you are supposed to be available for whatever shifts you are assigned. That could be days, that could be nights, they could be close together, like back to back, or they could be 2 days one week, 3 days the next, 4 days one week, 1 day the next. It really all depends on what your nurse is working. And you don't really get preference. You can't really ask, and they don't revolve around your schedule. You are, expected to revolve around the school schedule. And I know a lot of people get upset with that, and a lot of people don't think it should be like that. But when you compare a traditional program to WGU, would you rather do, these 5 days worth of clinicals with maybe 5 days worth of labs every 3 months compared to going physically to class from like 8 to 4 Monday through Friday and still having to do your clinicals on the weekends every week? I mean, so they try to make this program as flexible as they possibly can, but at the end of the day, WGU is at the discretion of the hospital. You are not guaranteed that you will get your schedule a week or two in advance. WGU tries their hardest, but it doesn't always work that way, and it is so frustrating. I mean, there has been times where I've gotten my schedule 4 days into my clinical window and just had to wing it. So that can happen, so be prepared for that. They're at the hospital's discretion. Whenever the hospital wants to release the schedules to WGU, that's when they're going to do it. So, yeah, it can get annoying, but it is what it is. So, it's very possible to do this program while working. I know a lot of full-time single moms with 3 kids that do this program, and they find a way. They say it's very hard, but they find a way to do it. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-month-old, and it does get hard. I travel 5 hours to my clinical site and my labs. So, if the clinicals are back to back, I will get a hotel and stay the night. If they're spread apart, I have some family that's about 2 hours away from my clinicals that I can stay with. And so what that looks like is I'm waking up around 3:30, driving and getting there, and then not getting home until 10. But I just tell myself it's worth it, and you'll get through it. Traveling. If you are in a different area and you still want to do this program, but you don't think you can because your admissions rep hasn't told you of anybody who travels and does the program, or you just think, oh my gosh, an hour's too far, 2 hours are too far. Well, I will tell you, there are people in this program traveling way further. And I mean way further. I met 2 people from California today, okay? That's 22 to 24 hours from here. And one moved here, and the other flies. And they make it work, and it's hard, it's not easy, but they do it. I have been to Georgia and traveled back and forth for my clinicals and my labs, which is about 13 hours. I've been in Louisiana, which is about 4, and now we're in Houston, which is about 5. So if you're second guessing doing this program because they offered you a clinical site that's an hour or 2 hours away, just go for it. Do it. Even if you're 10 hours, do it. I mean, you're not always going to be traveling. It's only every 3 months. And if you can find a way to get it done, it just comes down to how badly do you want it. So let's talk about a little bit about clinicals and kind of what you do. So, you will have an orientation day for your hospital, if your hospital has orientation. And then you will be assigned, which is another reason why I love WGU. You're not in a big group. You'll be assigned a individual preceptor, a nurse that you will follow around your unit with. This is your time to learn and do everything possibly that you can. Jump on any skill. If they ask if you want to do an injection, do it. Catheter, do it. If a wound care nurse wants you to come watch her observe packing a wound, do it. Just soak it all in and do everything that you possibly can. By my last day of my first clinical, I was already starting to do IVs. I mean, not starting them, but, doing flushes and hanging bags and, doing charting. I had my own patient that my preceptor let me go in and, do everything to my head to toe assessment, medications, all of that. Of course, they're watching you, but this is your time to soak it in and learn everything that you can. Don't be afraid to ask to do a skill. And if you feel like you're not doing enough, don't be afraid to reach out to your clinical director. They check on you frequently on the floor, but they also want to know if you're having a terrible clinical experience. You can get a different preceptor if you feel like your preceptor isn't teaching you or being rude or, just not working out. So make sure you're getting everything out of this experience that you can, because like I said, you only get to do clinicals every 3 months. So that's our time to be very hands-on and learn what we can. You will, like I said, you'll want to wear your badge. All I do is bring a lunch and a notebook, but I'm actually going to stop bringing my notebook. I don't bring a bag or anything. You really don't need any of that. It's not like a traditional program. You kind of get free reign because you're only with one nurse, and that nurse is going to tell you everything you need to do. So there's really not much you need to bring other than a notepad to write down notes. But one of my preceptors had these almost like RN report cards, I guess you could say, that already has everything you need to know when given a report, and you just fill it in, and those are so cool. So I'm going to order me some of those instead of writing in a notebook. I think that would help me out so much better. You can put down your medications you learned that day. You can just put down everything that you learned and did, and you can go back to it later on. So that's something you need to maybe think about getting too. Clinicals are a fun time. Just have fun with it and have fun at your labs. Make really good friends with your cohort. You're going to be with them for the rest of the program, and you all need to, be in it together and help each other out and just stick it through. So I think I've covered everything about clinicals and labs. Let's see, we talked about what you wear, what you do, the days. Oh, hours. Labs are from 8 to 4. Sometimes they let you go early, but most of the time 8 to 4. And clinicals are your regular 7 to 7, but like I said, you could get nights too, so, be prepared for that. I think that's about it. Just remember, you have to work around your clinical and lab schedules. You can't choose what you do. So a lot of people think that this program you can choose, but you can't. So I think that's about it. If I didn't cover anything in this video that y'all can think of or that y'all have questions of, please ask me down below. I'm making this video so that I can, tell people. I just remember, researching this school so much. It drove me crazy. I could never find anything to answer my questions. Anything. I'm not making these videos for just any kind of purpose. I'm really just making it for that one person that's out there searching for information, and literally nobody will tell you about it. Nobody who graduated would tell me anything. Some people still don't tell me a whole lot. So I just started documenting my own experiences with this school and what they do and how it works. And I don't mind answering any questions that anybody has. So if you have any questions down below, let me know. If you're feeling like you don't think you can do this, you know, being a mom with kids and working, or if you're out of state trying to travel to another one, let me know. I can answer some of your questions, or I have people that are actually, I know people who are actually doing it, and I could, you know, get you in touch with them and you can ask some questions, you know. So yeah, anything that you want to know about, let me know. Any other videos that you want me to do, I will have 2 more videos coming. I have a video coming that's study tips and how I organize all my stuff being in an online program. And I also have a video that I'm making. It probably won't be done for another 2 weeks just because lab's next weekend too, that I'm making. That kind of shows you my day of how I get started and I travel to labs and what we do in labs. You know, the school, where you park, walking to it, and I kind of show you brief clips of kind of what we do in labs, so that'll be fun too. Alright, well, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe, and let me know if there's anything else you need to know. Thanks. Bye.